Promotional consideration paid for by the following.
This is awesome! Hello and welcome once again to Cheap Shot Entertainment. It is 2020. This was the last show that I went to go and see of 2019, and I've only just managed to find time to go over everything that happened at FUTR Wrestling number 33, Snow Way Out, and they have a way of just making the names of those shows just fantastic. The last one was Bohemian Rhapsody, and this one's Snow Way Out. Fantastic. Top points for naming your shows, guys. Always entertaining FUTR Wrestling, and this was no different. It was on the 28th of December, so in between Christmas and New Year we got some wrestling goodness, which is always awesome, because obviously NXT and AEW were not doing shows because Christmas fell on a Wednesday, and also WWE didn't really do the main shows too much. I think they did do a couple, but obviously in between Christmas and New Year it's all just sort of award shows and stuff. Even NXT UK didn't do a show really, just highlights and things. It was at the Grosvenor Rooms in Sutton, in Ashfield, in Mansfield, Nottingham, and it was £5 English if you want to go and see your show at the FUTR. The Grosvenor Rooms in Sutton in Ashfield. The next show is at the end of February, which is interesting. I think it's actually on the 29th of February, which is the only day, like, this is going to be like a weird day because it's a leap year, so February has 29 days. Fantastic. I think it's on the 29th of February. I will check that actually. I will do that now just while you're waiting, and just dip. Yeah, definitely on the 29th. Yeah, so get your tickets. It's £6 English on the Big Cartel website. If you want to go and find that, you can go to Facebook and click on their link. So FUTR Wrestling on Facebook. You can also find us on Facebook, Instagram and Twitter, as well as Close to Order to order your t-shirts and merchandise to support the show. So we start off in Sutton in Ashfield with a match that wasn't announced. It was a battle royal for the number one contendership for the FUTR title, and yeah, it would play out inconveniently for some and very conveniently for others after this match, but it was a very quick battle royal. We saw everyone who's on the card. So David Grant was out first. He was going for the Hardcore Championship against Hustle Malone. You also saw the Von Englands in there, Jade was in there, Luna Rocks, and you know, Brett Myers was in there. We've got Morgan Black, Xander Zulu, they were in there. You got the FUTR. I don't think you did have the FUTR champion actually, because obviously he doesn't need to get the number one contendership for his own title. Kingsley was in there. The only person we did not see really was Jack Cave, who I'm wearing the merchandise of because this was his last show in FUTR Wrestling. He'll still be about here and there, but he's not wrestling in FUTR anymore. So Godspeed to Jack Cave in your future endeavours. I believe you're taking over the running and booking of Sacrifice Pro. So yeah, good luck to you on that one, and hopefully we'll get down to a show. Sacrifice Pro is always good. Big Cartel, go over to Twitter, Facebook and all that kind of stuff if you're in the Milton Keynes area, because that show is fantastic. Anyway, like I say, David Grant was in there. He went out first, the big man out first, followed quickly by Hustle Malone. But we would get quite a surprise winner in this one, in Brett Myers, or as Christy would say, Magic Mike Myers. You know where her mind was when she was announcing that one. When she did the FUTR announcing, she did a very good job actually, so well done to Christy on that one, and currently doing a very good job in Aspire Wrestling, again Facebook, Twitter and Instagram, and also YouTube. They have some YouTube videos on there and some free matches, so go over and check those out. Aspire Wrestling Alliance. So yeah, Bret Myers would win this Battle Royal for a chance to cash in. He would get a briefcase, cash in on the champion at any time he chose. That could be later on in the night, it could be at a different future show, it could be at the next future show. I mean, what better way to mark a leap year than picking up a championship on the day that's not going to happen for another 4 years? Who knows? Hey, I think that'd be pretty damn cool. But we're going to take you through all of that action, and we'll reveal what he did later on in the video. And as Bret Myers was leaving with the briefcase, we got a glimpse of Hustle Malone and David Grant fighting near the bar area in the Grosvenor Rooms, and it would go straight on to the next match, which is the Hardcore Championship, and it is Hustle Malone defending his championship, won from Jack Cave, the Hope Hardcore Championship, should be said, against David Grant, who won the opportunity to challenge for any title, and he decided to go for the Hardcore title. Incidentally, David Grant didn't have the option of being saved by the bell here because Zach Morris was not in the building. So David Grant was very much on his own in this one. But we saw chairs, tables being used. We saw different people beating up David Grant at the request of Hustle Malone. Just a standard sort of future wrestling Hardcore Championship, family friendly Hardcore Championship match. But there would be a surprise weapon being used in this match, and that was a a keg of mixed fruit cider. I'm not allowed to call it by the proper name or give you the name on the label because that would be advertising, and I'm not going to be advertising alcoholic beverages on this channel for fear of copyright strikes. But it was a keg of it was a black keg with some purple writing on it, made by a very popular drinks company, and I will leave your imagination to fill in the gaps there. Yeah, that would come into play. David Grant would try and use it first, but Hustle Malone would get the better of his opponent and eventually managed to chop the big guy down to one knee, hitting the curb stomp on the keg, which was a metal keg, by the way. Hitting the curb stomp. David Grant is completely out of it. 1, 2, 3. Your champion is still Hustle Malone. The Neon Nightmare, the LED Nightmare rather, not the Neon Nightmare, that's completely different. The LED Nightmare is still your Hope Hardcore Champion in future and Hope Wrestling in general. So yeah, really good match actually. I really enjoyed this one just for the craziness of it, because it happened straight away after the Battle Royal match. It was fantastic. So we go on next to a tag team match and a debut for the Von Englands. It is I did write the names down and I can't remember what they are, so there you go. But it's the Von Englands. It's a I think boyfriend girlfriend team. They come in as dancers, so they did a bit of a dance in the middle of the ring, and obviously tight grip, not to be outdone here, coming out to very popular rap tune. And I must have been the whitest person in Sutton in Ashfield because I was doing this to it because it's a really good song. In fact, a couple of years ago I made a character on my wrestling game, not to be mentioned, but it's a wrestling game of a popular, semi-popular wrestling company, and I made Frosty the Snowman. I used that exact tune for Frosty's entrance when you could use music that you wanted to, rather than the crap they give you now. Anyway, they came out to that. I must have been the whitest man in the room at that point, bouncing up and down to rap music, popular rap music, and yeah, Xander Zulu and Morgan Black, not to be outdone, they wanted a dance contest, and we almost got one, but they were jumped by the Von Englands, who then took the fight to Morgan and Black, Tight Grip, known collectively as, and yeah, again, another really good match. But I was distracted a little bit by something that happened outside the ring. A costume malfunction. I think a lot of people on that side of the ring were distracted by it. I missed the ending completely, but I'm just going to put it was a double team from Morgan and Black. The Von Englands lose on their first initial entry into Future Wrestling, but I'm looking forward to seeing what they can do later on with a bit more time to prepare. Maybe they will be a force to be reckoned with in that Future Tag division, and yeah, it's shaping up to be really good. Incidentally, we did not see the Future Tag Team Champions in the house at this show. Usually mainstays on the shows, you know, you got the Tank and Bendigo, part of the pro team. Didn't see Troy either, so he was elsewhere. A bit disappointing that. You know, three of my favourites there, friends of the show as well. Well, at least Troy is, at least. But yeah, really quite disappointed that we didn't get to see the Future Tag Team Champions. Hopefully they will be on the show on the 29th of February 2020. Anyway, your winners in this tag team match, Morgan Black and Xander Zulu, collectively known as Tight Grip. So we go on to the champion versus champion match next. It is the future champion Bjorn, who's held that championship very proudly for a long time now, since I can't remember when he won it. I think it was about February, March last year, so almost 12 months. He won it in at the Shirebrook Welfare. Unfortunately, that venue is not a thing anymore for Future, but they're certainly making it count in Sutton. Against someone who is known very well to the Hope and Future faithful, the spectacular Mr. Charles Crowley, who comes in as the UBW champion. One of these guys will go away as a double champion here, and yeah, I couldn't pick who would be the champion at the end of this. Both very credible champions, both very incredible performers in that squared circle, but it would be a lot of respect being shown here between these two. Handshake in the middle of the ring before the match started. Right hand's being thrown, left hand's being thrown, forearms, drop kicks, you name it. They battled inside the ring, they battled outside the ring in an attempt to get one over on their opponents. But it would unfortunately come down to an interference from the breaker, Carl Kingsley, who would come in, attack Bjorn, giving him the victory via disqualification. Obviously Charles Crowley was not very happy with this. He wouldn't have wanted to lose, let alone lose via disqualification, so he came in to help Bjorn, who was being beaten up at this point in time by a few people from the back, actually, who came out to help Kingsley and take down Bjorn. Don't know where or why that is happening, apart from Kingsley being a heel or bad guy. Maybe he could, because he couldn't beat Bjorn, he wanted someone else to go against so he could try and pick up that Future Championship, something that he has not done in the 2 years that Future has been going. In fact, it's 2 years on the 29th of February-ish. Obviously that date only happens once every 4 years, so I think it was just the closest Saturday that they could get. So yeah, unfortunately the match would be thrown out as a disqualification, but this did lead to a certain person with a briefcase Wally, Brett Myers, who would come in and try and cash in on Bjorn. Bjorn would fight back valiantly, but unfortunately he would be taken down via a code breaker from the new champ now, Brett Myers. Bjorn goes out a fighting champion and definitely has a grievance against both the breaker, Carl Kingsley, and Brett Myers, and must cash in his rematch clause, and probably will at the next show, because it is the 2nd anniversary. And you know, when you've got a 2nd anniversary, you want to make it as big as possible, bigger than your 1st anniversary, and just want to get better and better and better. But your new champion via cash-in of the Battle Royal win is Brett Myers, new future champion. Looking forward to seeing what he can do with that silver belt, that silver championship. Beautiful championship it is as well, just because it's silver doesn't make it any less beautiful. Really nice championship, and a new champion, only the 4th champion in future history is Brett Myers. So yeah, congratulations to you. And obviously Charles Crowley goes away with his UBW championship. We would get a someone who I haven't seen in the next match, the Dare Angel, David Lateo, although he has appeared before, teaming with the man who he's going against in this match, Sam Kenny, who was part of the Omen previously. The Omen has broken down now, Sam Kenny going back into... Was he in? Yeah, I think he was actually. Yeah, of course he was. I think he was. Yes, he was. I'm questioning myself now. But he was tagging with David Lateo last time on Future, and that didn't end well between the two, so we now get this match between the two. The good Christian boy, who he keeps reminding the whole crowd about. He is a good Christian boy, apparently. And the match would go... again, it would fight inside the ring, fight outside the ring. Sam Kenny would get the initial upper hand in this match, but it was only via dirty tactics from David Lateo, the Dare Angel, that he would win this one. Sam Kenny was doing a pretty good job of chopping the good Christian boy down with his educated feet. And David Lateo would get a backslide and manage to get his feet up on the ropes for the leverage pin. The referee did not see it, and if the referee doesn't see it, it didn't happen. Quote Bobby Heenan, one of my favourite commentators, and someone who I aspire to be in the future. So yeah, backslide. David Lateo wins with his leverage pin. Sam Kenny no doubt will want a little bit of revenge on David Lateo in the future, and that could generally happen on the 2nd anniversary on the 29th of February in the Sutton Grosvenor Rooms in Mansfield. So I'm going to keep plugging that show to make sure you know about it. It's £6 on the website. If you order in advance, it's £7 on the door. Still absolute bargain prices here in the East Midlands. Also reporting for Babyface as well on their app, so go and check out the write-ups where there's more detail than I give you on these vids, because I try and get through these ones as quickly as possible. Keep the attention of the audience, you know, without doing a jig or anything like that. So we go into a women's triple threat match next, and someone we haven't seen for a good long time. Jade makes her reappearance in FUTR, makes her comeback after a lengthy injury to her wrist. Still not 100%, but she is a battler and she is a warrior. She is going against another warrior in Luna Rocks and Eliza Rue, who comes over from Fight Factory Wrestling. I tried to find out whether she was still the Fight Factory Wrestling Women's Champion, as she was last time she appeared in FUTR Wrestling, but I could not find out any information on that, so I don't know. But she didn't bring the belt with her, or the title with her this time. So yeah, you've got the answer to that question. Please post it in the comments down below. So, Eliza Rue, Luna Rocks, Jade, three fabulous in-ring performers who happen to be female. Very, very good match. This one, three ladies who know how to work a crowd, how to work the ropes and everything. Obviously Jade, quite recently, has had a tryout with WWE for NXT UK. Unfortunately, you know, that's where she picked up her injury and obviously didn't get drafted. But you know, we've got the midst of someone here who has been to the Performance Centre and come back to FUTR. So we get, you know, we are very much treated at FUTR Wrestling. Luna Rocks is always awesome. Anyway, heel or face, doesn't matter where I see her, she's always entertaining. And Eliza Rue is becoming very much one of my favourites in recent times. The two times I've seen her, she's been very impressive, and she was no different here. It would come down to Eliza Rue and Luna Rocks fighting each other for most of this match, as Jade spent a lot of time outside the ring. But it would start with a three-way forearm competition between the three ladies, going round in a triangle, hitting each other before Jade would get dumped out of the ring, and Eliza Rue would take the advantage. But yeah, that's the way it would stay. Jade would come in every so often and interject, adding that element of surprise to the other two ladies that were battling in the ring. Jade got her fair share of punches in and shots and moves, but it would be Eliza Rue who would make Luna Rocks tap with a monkey flip, roll through into a Boston Crab. Fantastic move, very much reflective of me as I went back to work on the 2nd of January. Like, oh yeah, I'm doing well, and then get rolled into a Boston Crab because it's January and I work in a gym. So there you go. Well, there you go. That's that. Eliza Rue makes Luna Rocks tap, and Jade was nowhere to be seen to try and break up that, unfortunately. So she couldn't interject and stop the victory for Eliza Rue, who wins via submission over Luna Rocks. Very good match. In fact, one of the best women's matches I've seen on FUTR Wrestling, and in fact one of the best matches I've seen last year in terms of women's wrestling as well. And I saw quite some talent last year with my travels in wrestling. Jack Cave next, my boy Jackie Cave, in his final match in FUTR. Final match ever in FUTR. He is going against Kyle Kingsley in a one-on-one match, which would turn out to be no, it wasn't a one-on-one. It was a one-on-one match, but it would turn out to be a hardcore match as the request of Jack Cave. So I'm not a very good wrestler, I'm not very good technically, but one thing I am good at is using weapons. So he goes to the Christmas tree. We were chanting for him to use the Christmas tree. He says, I haven't got that much money, but he did pull out a suspiciously shaped present from under the tree. It looked a bit like a ladder. He unwrapped it. It was in fact a shiny red chair, something that John Islands would know a lot about. He would quite happily dent the shiny red chair over Carl Kingsley's head, and the match continued in that vein, really. Carl Kingsley would use the chair against Jack Cave. He would take a lot of the punishment in this match. We had all sorts of things happening. We saw Lucille, the bat with the Lego on it. We saw Lego. We saw all sorts of things. We didn't see a table, but there was all sorts of things used, including the branch off a Christmas tree to do a 5-knuckle shuffle. You can't see tree. And he was John Trina for that move. So yeah, there was a lot of things going off in this match. It was really difficult to keep up with, but it was so much fun. It was unbelievable. Jack Cave is always a fun performer to watch in the ring and mostly outside the ring, just because he's very unique in the way he does things. But yeah, it was after Carl Kingsley would get the advantage and he would call for help, and other people would pile out of the locker rooms again to try and take down Jack Cave. It would be Carl Kingsley who would gain the advantage. He would take too long to do whatever he was going to do to finish off Jackie Cave in his final match. Jack Cave came back. The Lego was already out on the floor. Jack Cave would AA Carl Kingsley onto a bed of Lego that was in the ring. And we're not talking about little pieces of Lego here. If you ever stepped on a piece of Lego, it is horrid. We're talking about Duplo blocks and other assorted Lego bits in here and there. Not affiliated with this channel or an endorsement from Cheap Shot Entertainment. I just realised I'd said the company name. That must have hurt. That took Carl Kingsley down 1, 2, 3. Jackie Cave is your winner in his final match at FUTR. He gave a big speech saying thank you to the FUTR crowd, and I said I made a point of going up to him at the end of the show and shaking his hand, because every match, every angle that I've ever seen him in, he has been nothing short of entertaining. We've gained quite a good friendship between us over the last 2 years that I've been watching him in the ring. Really sad to see him not be in the ring at FUTR, but luckily we will be seeing him in and around FUTR, because his wife Emma does do the announcing for FUTR. So yes, we will see him around. Maybe I'll have a beer with him, I don't know. Thank you, Jack Cave, from everybody at Cheap Shot Entertainment, and we hope your future endeavours at Sacrifice Pro will go absolutely brilliantly for you and your promotion. So that is it. That is everything that happened at FUTR 33 Snow Way Out in the Grosvenor Rooms in Sutton in Ashfield in Mansfield. Like I say, the tickets were £5 for this one, special because it's Christmas. And if you want to go and order tickets for future shows, it's futurewrestling.bigcartel.com, and you can save £1 on each one you order for that show. In the meantime, you can go to FUTR Wrestling on Instagram, Facebook and Twitter, and don't forget Cheap Shot on Facebook, Instagram and Twitter, as well as clicking the subscribe button and liking the video if you did like the video, and that notification bell to know when we upload new content to the channel. Although I think the notification bell is something they're actually getting rid of, from my understanding anyway. Probably wrong on that one, but there you go. And of course, close to order, Cheap Shot Nation, to order your merchandise and support the show here on Cheap Shot Entertainment. So that is everything here, and we'll see you next time. Thank you very much, Cheap Shot Nation, and we'll see you again. Goodbye.
Hiya.